This is not magic. His name is Thomas, and he lives on the other side of the world. For reference, I'm in Australia, and I'm talking to this bloke on the other side of the world in Sweden. And just for your reference, I have added a banana for size comparison on this map, just in case you're American. But I will also point out where we're making it to. So I'm down here, and Sweden is up here. My radio signals are making it all the way across the curvature of the Earth and making it to me in Australia. Now, how does this happen, and how do I manage to talk to this bloke on the other side of the world with radio signals? Let me tell you. Now, fortunately, we live in a place called Earth. It's a planet where we're inhabited by just living creatures. And if you happen to not be living on this planet, I'm sorry, but this video is not for you, so I advise clicking off. But what causes this phenomenon to happen is called HF radio, or shortwave radio. And the way it works is you're able to transmit a signal at the right wavelength that is able to, if I go over here, go up to the ionosphere, and it refracts off the ionosphere, reflects off the ground, diffracts off the ionosphere. It can travel around the world, so it can get my signal from A to B just like that at the speed of light. Experimenting with these types of signals to communicate with people around the world is a hobby called amateur radio, or more commonly known as ham radio. It's got enough people around the world where you can regularly talk to someone on the other side of the world, and they just come across your signals and talk to you. And there is a lot more you can actually do with this hobby than just talk to someone on the other side of the world. I have compiled a list here that I'm going to read out with what you can do. I had to write down a list because there's just so many things you can do. But here we go. So you can talk to people on the other side of the world, which was like the main thing I do, which I like doing because it's just awesome. You can do digital modes like FT8, where you don't actually have to talk to anyone. You can just put up an antenna and you can talk to someone on the other side of the world with digital signals sent as radio signals. So it's got a bit of error correction, and it's also like a weak signal protocol, so you don't have to use much power at all to do that. You can operate portable from parks, benches, cars, or campsites using simple antennas. So since it doesn't require any internet, it just requires a really small battery, you can go outdoors and you can play radio from outdoors. It's even better from outdoors because you get no interference. You can communicate through satellites, including the International Space Station. So zooming through the sky, you got satellites and the International Space Station, which do contain repeaters, which is a way you can communicate to other people on the other side of your continent or even your country through the International Space Station. So it's really cool that you can interact with the space station without too much effort. And you can also track positions, send messages, and transmit weather data through, what's it called? I don't do too much of this, but you can do, I've got the name of it. Hold on, it will come back to me. I remember the name. It's called APRS. It's not my expertise, but you can send cool data over amateur radio networks. And the best part about amateur radio is it works when the internet doesn't. It's just an awesome hobby. Your next question might be, how much will it cost? What do I need to do? And how do I get started? Let me show you. So I'll quickly go over the license levels we've got here, and then a couple of resources that will help you if you're interested. So in Australia, each country has their own governing board for amateur radio. In Australia, it is the ACMA. They govern all communications related things, you know. All right. So in Australia, we've got 3 license levels. We've got the Foundation, Standard, and Advanced. All 3 of these licenses allow you to transmit on certain frequencies. So if you are going to get involved in this particular hobby, I recommend starting out with the Foundation license, and then as you get experience, go up to the Standard or the Advanced. You don't have to start at the Foundation license, but it's easiest to get, And just with a couple of weeks of just looking into the theory and practical assessment information, you're able to get a call sign and start doing stuff. All right. So, what does the foundation license give you, and how do you get the foundation license? So, for the foundation license, you need to pass a practical and theory assessment. This is strictly for Australian assessments. In other countries like America, you are looking at one theory assignment, and that's it. But in Australia, I believe we are the only country that has a practical aspect of the assessment. And you may be asking yourself, what is the point of an assessment, or how do I get an assessor? So the assessment just shows you're capable of operating the radio without interfering with anyone else. And how do you find an assessor? You go to the ACMA website, and there's a page on assessors, acma.gov.au/assessors, and you can find your closest assessor. You can, so if you're from ACT, you can go here, you can find your closest person and just full on email them. They're all very nice. I've never talked to a mean assessor, so they're very nice. Another resource you can look at is the WIA website. Gives you information regarding each of the license levels. I love this little tab up here. You can go through all these licenses. You can see Foundation, Standard, and Advanced. You can click on it, and it tells you what frequencies you're allowed and what limits there are to it. All right, going a bit off topic. How much does this all cost? So you're looking at about $80. This is a one-off purchase. So if you buy it, you don't have to buy this ever again. You can get your call sign and your recognition certificate. For $80, you can have bragging rights and a bit of a fun fact about yourself as you're a licensed amateur radio operator, and that's for only $80. It's up there with forklift certifications. Like it just makes you a better human being. So yeah, for $80 you can get that certificate that allows you to transmit on air. And equipment wise, I'll quickly add it to the screen. There we go, with an entry level radio that allows you to talk on repeaters around the city to test out your new learned skill of amateur radio. It's just going to set you back like $35. And compared to that gym membership you haven't touched since the start of the year, I'd say this is a bit of a bargain. Only $110 for a one-off purchase. You need to hit the gym. Anyway, this is what you need in Australia to get started. It obviously does get a bit more expensive if you want to get into more equipment, but generally, if you're new to the hobby, you can go to clubs around wherever you are, and you can just borrow equipment and use equipment at the club just to dip your feet further into the hobby. But this is all you really need at the start. This particular setup will allow you to make contacts locally around your city using repeaters. It sounds a little bit like this.
This is VK3 Mike X-Ray Whiskey. Is anyone out there just to give me a quick signal report over?
VK3 Mike Echo Whiskey, VK4 GTR, loud and clear into the system there, Mike.
VK4 MGR, VK3 Mike X-Ray Whiskey. Thanks for the report, 73.
Personally, I wouldn't even call that a contact, but yeah, it just gives you a bit of an idea of what you can do. You can talk to people via radio waves. Anyway, if you do have any questions, anything other than questions about the gym, please put them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them to the best of my ability. And please feel free to subscribe. It would make my day if I can get to 100 subscribers. That would be awesome. Anyway, looking forward to making more content. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll catch you all later. Oh, hold on. I just got a message from my girlfriend saying, if I don't reach 10 minutes, it's not going to recommend my videos to anyone. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to give you a couple fun facts about radio just to, fill in that time just to get to 10 minutes. You feel me? Here's a wild radio fact from history. When the RMS Titanic sank in 1912, radio was still brand new. The distress calls sent from the ships were some of the most important radio transmissions ever made. The operators sent both CQD and SOS, and nearby ships actually heard them. One ship, the Carpanther, changed course immediately and rescued survivors because of the radio. Without wireless radio, there would have been no warning, no rescue, no survivors pulled from the sea. That disaster directly changed radio rules forever, including 24-hour listening watches and emergency procedures. So amateur radio isn't just a hobby, it's a part of why radio exists the way it does today.